And Goldman with my colleagues, Congressman Velázquez, Congressman Adriano Espaillat. We are just coming out of 26 Federal Plaza where we observed a court appearance. We saw a number of masked agents waiting in the hallway before they left. They did not make any arrests today. We also tried to go to the 5th floor, which is where the check-ins occur, not a courtroom. We asked if we could conduct oversight as we are allowed to do under statute, and we were denied access. And so we're now here again for a number of times where the three of us are part of 12 members who filed a lawsuit to give us access to see what is going on behind the doors, where people are being detained, yanked from their families, even though they are here lawfully with pending asylum claims or other claims to lawfully be here. This is not American. This is not a democracy. And this is not acceptable. We are here on a day when there's a lawsuit that has just been filed this morning alleging that ICE is violating the preliminary injunction that found that those detention facilities to be unconstitutional. And they still cannot even comply with a court order. And so we are here today both to observe but also to introduce a new bill that we are all leading together along with our colleague Robert Garcia that would prohibit ICE from arresting anyone appearing in court or for a routine check-in. You cannot sandbag people who are trying to do this the right way. And one of the most unsettling things we learned today is that reportedly approximately 80% of the people with court appearances are not showing up because they are afraid of getting yanked from their families, detained in terrible conditions, whisked away to Texas or Louisiana, and deported without due process. But what that means is there is an automatic order of removal as soon as they don't show up. So they are choosing to go underground rather than show up for their court appearance and try to seek the American dream through a lawful pathway. These are nonviolent, non-criminal people, often escaping terrible conditions in their country, seeking refuge here. And now they are being yanked away from their families, detained and deported, even though they have a lawful application. So I want to now turn it over to the chairman of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus to talk further.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for Adriano Velázquez for coming here. I will be coming back every week. Once a week, I will be coming back to 26 Federal Plaza. This is an administrative building. This should not be a detention center. But what has happened here is what we predicted from the very beginning, that the Trump dictatorship, and I say that understanding that the characteristics of a dictatorship are for masked agents to roam the streets and slam people in the ground as they did to a woman here in front of her young daughter, or as they did to a sitting U.S. Senator, Senator Padilla. To have the National Guard, an army, deployed to urban centers, to disregard the law as they did today, as ICE told us that they have protocol. Protocol is not above the law. So these are all characteristics of what? A dictatorship, when there is a blatant and abrasive disregard of the law. So we will be back here because we felt then, as we feel now, that this aggressive behavior was going to drive immigrants on the ground. And once they do that, they're vulnerable. Now the next time they try to come in, there is a warrant or action for them to be automatically deported before even seeing a judge, because they missed their court appearance. Of course they gotta miss their court appearance. Mass agents are here to cuff them, detain them, and deport them. So this is what we're here to denounce. A blatant disregard for the law. The law says that we as members of Congress should be able to go in there without any notice to inspect the conditions, including the conditions of the notorious 10th floor, where we've seen film footage of men sleeping on the ground with one toilet, 30 of them. So this is what's happening. They've driven immigrants underground so that they could break the law. They're law-abiding. They want to be within the confines and the parameters of the law, but they pushed them underground. So I'll be back here once a week to monitor the situation. This was far less active than it was when we came here several months ago. And that's because 80% of the people are not showing up. That's what Trump wants. He wants a crisis between law enforcement and the population. So we're here to protect the most vulnerable, and that's the immigrants that should be allowed to access this building to resolve their status. And with that, I introduce La Luchadora, Lidia Velázquez.
Good morning, everyone. Congresswoman Lidia Velázquez, representing the 7th Congressional District. We are standing outside 26 Federal Plaza, the busiest immigration courts in the country. Immigration court will be a place where people can follow the law. You see that line there? These are abiding immigrants doing what they are being told to come before a judge in the courtroom here at immigration. They are behaving better than our lawless president, Donald Trump, who doesn't follow the law, who is undermining democracy and deny due process. Immigration court is supposed to be a place where people can follow the law, show up when they are required to, and have their case heard fairly. It should not be a place where people are afraid they will enter and never leave. But that is exactly what is happening here. Across the country, ICE has moved enforcement into court buildings. Agents now wait in hallways and near courtroom doors, detaining people who have done exactly what the government told them to do. When people are afraid that court will lead to detention, the whole system begins to break down. Lawyers are telling us that people are missing hearings because they are scared of what will happen if they walk through those doors. We have seen the real human cost of these tactics. Families are being torn apart in the hallways. Parents are ripped from their children, including the recent case of Faye and his 6-year-old, John Shin. No child should never, ever be taken away from their family for immigration enforcement. All of this is happening while immigration courts are overwhelmed, with people being told they may have to wait years to have their case heard. People are being asked to navigate a broken system while facing the risk of detention simply for trying to follow the rules. My friend, this is just outrageous. This administration is violating due process. They're violating the law. This is not Germany, 1939. This is the United States of America. And we will fight every single day to make sure that the people of this country come out and send a strong message to Donald Trump. They saw what happened in Virginia and New Jersey. Be ready, because 2026 is coming, not soon enough. Thank you.
Aquí para denunciar lo que nosotros habíamos denunciado meses atrás, que la política agresiva de la dictadura de Donald Trump ha forzado a los inmigrantes que no acudan aquí al 26 de Federal Plaza, exponiéndolo a que sean deportados, porque ellos querían venir a su cita. Pero como hay agentes de ICE enmascarados aquí esperándolo fuera de la corte, ellos decidieron que no pueden arriesgarse. De manera que la próxima vez que vengan aquí están sujetos a ser deportados. El 80% de los casos no están acudiendo aquí de personas que querían resolver su estatus. Eso es lo que es la dictadura de Donald Trump, que lanza el ejército, la Guardia Nacional a la calle, que coge a un senador, al senador Padilla, y lo tira en el piso, a una mujer aquí en este edificio con su niña pequeña, la estrellaron en el piso, que lanzan bombas lacrimógenas, químicales y otros asuntos dañinos para la población en general a cruzar de los Estados Unidos, que están alrededor de las escuelas, alrededor de las iglesias. Eso es lo que es una dictadura. Y estamos aquí para enfrentarlo, para proteger a los inmigrantes y estar aquí una vez a la semana para monitorear todo esto. Gracias.